What's up, dogs and dogettes? Welcome to week 10 of the NFL Pick'em Against the Spread series with your boy Harkdawg 25 and fantasy football nonsense and whatnot. And isn't that crazy what's going on with fantasy football this past week with they're trying to take down FanDuel and DraftKings and Yahoo and all the daily fantasy leagues. Which basically, if they take those down, the season long is going to be taken down as well. And these people are so hypocritical because I'm sure they've played an NCAA tournament bracket at some point. I'm sure they play poker at home with their friends, which is technically gambling and illegal as well. And I mean, it sounds like this senator, or not the senator, but the district attorney for New York, trying to make a name for himself. He's like, oh, this is my platform to get to the White House. Well, you're probably going to lose this one because 50, 60 million people in the U.S. play fantasy football. And New York State has the highest number of daily fantasy players and regular fantasy football players. So I feel like he's going to lose that, and he's going to lose his bid for the White House in 2024. But, you know, hey, at least got his name in the paper one time, right? So let's go over results from last week. Win-loss, I was 7-6 against the spread. I was reversed that, 6-7. So I'm 80-52 straight up, and I'm 68-61-4 versus the spread. So pretty rough. I'm only 7 over 500 now, and I started off so hot. So hot. I was 30-16 through 3 weeks. That means I'm 38-45 the last 6 weeks, which is just horrible. So I got to get about 500 at least this week. Hopefully I can. Let's see what Fitz has done. 7-6 against the spread and straight up, so not bad. Fitz, he's 85-47 win-loss. Just he's kicking my butt in a win-loss, and he's 10 over 500 against the spread, so he's kicking my butt there. I bow down to you. You and your JJ Watt jersey. Congratulations on winning that. That is so cool. That's a cool story. I've done it. I busted out the Jeff Blake jersey. I still have it from, oh man, this is sophomore year of high school. I got this from my buddy, and I think he got it like a year or two beforehand. So it's like 1999. That dates me. I'm an old guy. 31 years old. 31 years young. That's right. But yeah, had to bust out the Blake. I got no Packer outfit underneath. They lost 2 in a row, so I feel like my showmanship is not doing them any justice. So I gotta break that superstition and go to a new superstition to help them out. Okay, let's burn through these games here so I don't babble on for 25 minutes. New York Jets at home, favored by 3 Thursday night against the Buffalo Bills. Rex Ryan coming home. He's coming home. Tell the world he's coming home. I have the Jets in this one. I feel that they got a better defense. They have a better QB. And they have better receivers. And the running back is pretty equal. I think McCoy is actually a little bit better. So if the Jets don't make any mistakes at home, I think they're gonna win this one. But you never know. Could be some karma for Rex. But I feel that the Jets are going to win and cover this game. I feel like a 27-20 or a 24-17. Like a low-scoring game, I think the Jets are going to cover and win. Especially with that offense that they have. They're going to get a lead early and hopefully sustain it throughout the game. Okay, so let's bust to the Sunday games. Green Bay, my Packers. Favored by 11.5 at home against the 1-7 Detroit Cryons. 1-7. Mrs. Ford comes out. We're not giving up on the season. The season's over. You're not making the playoffs at 1-7 through 8 weeks. Oh, we're not giving up. We want to be a 4-12 team. Yeah, just tank. Get rid of Stafford. Get a new QB in the draft. And then go O-line and running back. Amir Abdullah hasn't done much this year. But I got Green Bay in this game. I think they're going to crush Detroit after 2 straight losses. And that tough loss last week where Rodgers had Cobb wide open. Hey, throw me the ball. Nope. Didn't throw him the ball. Threw the pick. And man, it's frustrating. It came all the way back. But, you know, they showed some heart that game. They showed some heart. There was no heart in the Denver game. There was no effort. There was no urgency. There was urgency, and you could tell it. You could tell that there was urgency. So they're going to bring that urgency, and they're just going to demolish Detroit. I think it's going to be 38-20. They're going to crush them. Okay, Green Bay, that game. Next game, Tampa Bay is favored in a game for the first time in, 2 years? Favored by 1.5 over the Dallas Cowboys. Famous Jameis coming off a win in a bye week. Doug Martin, the team's healthy. I feel like Dallas made some strides last week, and they could have won that game against Philly. Castle actually looked reasonable. He got the ball to Dez. Dez is playing now. And I'd open up Beasley. Beasley, a couple touchdowns. I think Dallas is going to get off their 6-game schneid, and they're going to win this one. I don't think Tampa Bay is that talented of a team overall. I feel like Dallas is a little bit more talented, especially on the O-line. McFadden's going to get some carries. And they're going to... Greg Hardy is going to grab Jameis Winston and beat his ass and then throw him on a pile of guns, because that's what he likes to do to people. So I got Dallas in this game. Next game, Tennessee at home. Carolina favored by 5 points. I'm going to go Carolina in this one. I feel Tennessee, Mike Mularkey, they were going against the worst defense in the league in the New Orleans Saints. And I thought New Orleans would just outscore them. And Delaney Walker, what a stud. I mean, the Saints defense is so bad. So bad. I mean, it's at home they lost to Tennessee, to an interim coach, to a rookie QB, to a no-name backfield. How? I have no idea. Just sad. So I think Carolina's going to go in there and dominate. They're going to win by a touchdown for sure. Greg Olson's going to have a big day. Jay Stewart and Cam Newton. Trio, the big three, and then the defense. Defense is going to pick Mariota off. I think he's probably going to throw a pick six. So if you have Carolina defense, start them. Next game, St. Louis at home fared by 8 against your Chicago Bears. And the Bears showing some gumption, taking out San Diego. But San Diego is just a really bad team with no receivers anymore and no running game. St. Louis has a running game, but they don't have receivers. They have a less than efficient QB, way less than Rivers. And they got really good defense. I think St. Louis is going to win this game. I think they're going to win by a touchdown. 8 points is a little much, and I think Jay Cutler is going to cut himself a little slice of that spread and take it home as a moral victory, so he can have on Monday while he's watching the Cincinnati game. So Chicago in this one are going to cover the spread, but St. Louis is going to win. Next game, Washington at home against the worst defense, New Orleans Saints. Washington, Kirk Cousins, I think he's going to have a decent day. I think he's going to have 2-3 touchdowns, probably Jordan Reed, getting Deshaun Jackson back. But they don't have a backfield. Alfred Morris and Matt Jones. I know because I have Matt Jones. They've done nothing. Matt Jones had that one game in week 2 where he ran for like 120 yards, and that was it. So without a running game, I think New Orleans is going to cue in on the pass, and they're going to make him more one-dimensional. That's going to be tough to beat because New Orleans has a good running game. We got Ingram. They got Spiller, and then they have Watson, Snead, Cooks. They have some good receivers. And Breeze is looking healthy now. He's throwing a lot of touchdown passes. Definitely start him in fantasy if you have him. Definitely start Cousins as well. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be a 31-28 win by New Orleans, and they're going to win and cover. Next game, Philadelphia at home fair by 6.5 against the Miami Dolphins. I think the pedals of the Miami Dolphins are starting to wilt after those 2 weeks against Tennessee and Houston, where they just blew both those teams out. I think Philly getting some needed performances from Bradford and Matthews and DeMarco Murray last week is really bolstering them, and their defense is actually pretty good. They have a good special teams with Sproles in the return game. I think they're going to win this game by a touchdown. I'm guessing like a 28-21, maybe 27-20, something like that. But they're just going to cover the spread, so I'd take a Philly in this game. Okay, next game. Let me get a drink. All right, next game, Pittsburgh at home, favored by 4.5 against the Cleveland Browns. Roethlisberger down again, ankle, not going to play. Landry Jones, going to play. McCown's coming back, which means big points for Barnage, big points for Duke Johnson Jr., Travis Benjamin. And Pittsburgh, I feel like if they just key in on Antonio Brown, and then D'Angelo Williams, stop those two guys and make Landry Jones beat you to another person, then Cleveland's got a shot in this game. I'm taking them to cover. I think Pittsburgh probably will win by a field goal. But I think Cleveland's going to cover. I think they just got a decent amount of talent there on the offensive side to match what Pittsburgh is lacking in Ben Roethlisberger. And the defenses, I think Cleveland has a little bit better defense and a little bit better special teams. So all that adds up to a Cleveland cover and a Pittsburgh win. Next game, Baltimore at home, favored by 6 against the American team, Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm taking Jacksonville in this one to cover the spread. Baltimore to win. Baltimore's at home. Jacksonville, Bortles has been good. I'm starting him in pretty much every league I have him because he's doing better than Matt Ryan. He's doing better than Stafford. He's doing better than 18, 19-hour starting QBs. He's getting like 20 points a week. And he's got good receivers. I mean, Julius Thomas is out there. Robinson, Hearns, TJ Yeldon. If he has a good game, it's going to be a long day for Baltimore. But I think there's going to actually be some points scored in this game. It's going to be like 27-24 type game, 30-27. And Jacksonville's going to cover that spread. So pick up Allen Robinson and Bortles if you can. Next game, Oakland Raiders, favored by 3 points at home against the Minnesota Vikings. Now I'm picking Minnesota to cover, but I'm hoping Oakland wins because Minnesota is tied with the Packers, obviously, in the NFC North. It'd be nice to see them lose and the Packers win. Give ourselves a little bit of breathing room as we're going into division play here. But I think Oakland can win this game. Murray, I think, is going to play. Latavius. Cooper is going to play for sure. He's going to play well. Crabtree turned it on last week. And defense with Charles Woodson, probably the special teams player or the defensive player of the year so far, in my opinion. I think that Oakland's going to win. Minnesota's going to cover. So I got Minnesota covering in this game. Next game, New York Giants at home, favored by New England. New England is favored by 7, I should say. This is a revenge game for the past 2 Super Bowls they played in. New England by 21. Enough said. Next game, Denver at home, favored by 6.5 against Kansas City. Aqib Talib is poking eyes on the sideline this week. He won't be playing. He won't be suiting up. But it's not going to matter because Kansas City doesn't really have much of a run game. They got Charkandrick West, but then Denver's defense at home is too good. I think it's too good for Kansas City to overcome. Alex Smith has been getting sacked a ton this year, and I feel that with their lack of weapons through the passing game, they're going to key in on West or make Alex Smith try and beat him, and he's not going to. So I got Denver winning and covering this game at home fairly easy, probably by 10 points, 31-21, something like that. Next game, Seattle at home, favored by 3 points against the Arizona Cardinals. And I'm going Arizona. I'm going with the better QB, the better receivers, the better defense, the better special teams. And right now, Bruce Arians is probably the better coach. And even though Seattle's at home, Marshawn Lynch, if he can't run the ball, Russell Wilson is not going to beat you through the air. Carson Palmer can beat you through the air. It doesn't matter. Russell Wilson turns the ball over a lot when he doesn't have a good run game. As we saw in the NFC Championship, he still won the game somehow. Tear. Another tear. But I got Arizona covering this spread and actually winning this game and pushing Seattle to 4-5 and pushing them out of the playoff picture. Then the Monday Night Football. Right here. Jeff Blake coming at you. Cincinnati Bengals, favored by 11 points against Houston. Let's go through the checklist. Better head coach, Lewis. Better QB, Dalton. Better offense, Cincinnati. Better defense, Cincinnati. Better run game, Cincinnati. It's a Cincinnati winning cover, basically. But if you have DeAndre Hopkins, he's going to get his points. Hoyer will probably throw a couple touchdowns, hopefully to Hopkins for me. Cross my fingers. I need some wins in fantasy. So those are my picks. Those are my picks this week. Leave them down below. Do the fit strategy. Do the team. Then win and cover, or win and doesn't cover. It's easy to do it that way. I hopefully will beat Fitz this week. I haven't beat him in like 4 weeks. 5 weeks. He's been crushing me. It's that JJ Watt jersey. Yeah, it's going to give me some luck. Because he's a Wisconsin boy and I'm from Wisconsin. So I'm going to get some luck vicariously through Watt and through his jersey that Fitz won to make me win. Figure it out. Draw a diagram. It all works. Anyways, hope you enjoyed. And we will see you next week as I recap the Bengals and Packers victories and my victory over Fitz. Take care.